Hello there, world of tankers. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be asking a very simple question. Should you start running gun rammer on your vehicles? See, right now, calibrated shells is incredibly influential. It gives you a 13% heat pen buff to all vehicles at load heat, and that's huge. It means that in the SPHT, you're going up 44 mils of penetration versus the 20 mils that you used to a couple of years ago. But in the next update of the game, that is going from 13% pen to 7. AP is going from 8% to a 6% pen buff. The only round that's actually getting a buff is APCR. And that brings us to the question of should you start running gun rammer in the next update of the game, or should you stick with calibrated shells? For me, it's 50-50, because obviously running Cali is still going to give you a substantial pen increase. You're going to look at 7% more pen with your heat rounds, which means an E100 like the enemy team has, I would still be able to cut through of the turret of quite reliably with the SPHT, where running gun rammer, I'm not going to be able to reliably cut through that turret. Not only that, but it's going to force me to load premium rounds more often because I'm losing a lot of standard pen, about 15 mils. So there are big differences between the two, and the only real advantage you're getting with gun rammer is the ability to dish out damage faster. So that is definitely something to keep in mind, is, you know, you're still getting a pen buff, and having more penetration means you're still going to be able to deal with enemies a lot easier. So I would say if you're a beginner, running calibrated shells is always going to be a better choice. However, what if you're not a beginner? What if you're a more experienced player and you want to try running gun rammer? Well, then I think it's a little more up in the air. I do think that obviously having more DPM is always an advantage because it means that you can get your shells out faster and you can punish players for making bigger plays. So there are advantages to having gun rammer. If you're going to 1v1 someone, being able to dish out that damage faster, it is important, right? It can save you additional health. If there was a 183 that was going to shoot you, and because you're running gun rammer, you were able to out-reload that player and get out that damage before he was able to shoot you, it's a pretty big difference. So there are some big advantages to running gun rammer as well, but also there are some big advantages to running Cali. So I can't really say either is necessarily flat better, but we're going to get a nice shell into the enemy 116. Pretty good start. Just like that, we've already bled out that 116, and he's gone. We have the enemy T22. Okay, that's just horrible RNG, and the 100 cuts right through my armor, which is not very helpful, I have to say. Let's see, I have the T22, I have the 60 TP, E100 is showing me the side of his turret. We managed to slam a shell right in the crack there, which is obviously pretty nice. And now I'm going to back up right here, and nice, there you go. See, that shell there we probably would not have been able to hit without gun rammer. So that gave me an additional 400 damage that I probably wouldn't have had. Didn't realize that T22 was looking at me, but it's fine. Let's see if they try to poke me again. They do, and our shell does not go exactly where I want it to. Okay, well, for now, we're just going to kind of chill here. We have that T22 still poking. We have the Vickers Light on the flank, which we also get a 420 damage shell into. Not bad. We have the Mouse Tank, and for some reason the Vickers shoots me. We're going to get a shell into the Mouse Tank. Nice, 440 damage right there. We have the E75 right in front of us, and oh wow, that was a nasty roll from our teammate there. Nice shell into the E75 lower plate. We get a bounce. It's pretty good. Alright, I am going to use my repair kit, and let's see. Nice, there you go. 500 into the lower plate, the E75. We have the T22. Let's reload again. Come on, what are you going to do, T22? What's your big brain plan here? Well, it doesn't look like he wants to necessarily poke. We are going to aim it on the upper plate. Dang. Okay, what are we doing, E50? What are we doing here? Well, I can tell you what we're doing. We're screwing me because my tank reverses very slowly. Great. Alright, well, we're going to try and hit the upper plate. There you go. We actually do get a penning shell, which is pretty nice. And I have a feeling the enemy E100... Okay, nice. I was going to say that enemy E100 is probably going to shoot at me. But notice how I physically can't pen the E100 turret, right? That is a disadvantage of running this gun. Or running Rammer versus Cali. Not being able to pen that shell and having to wait for him to expose a weak point. It is a big difference. And it can make a big difference in the game that you're playing. We have the Vickers on my rear. That Vickers is really freaking annoying, dude. Like, go away, please. We have the T22, who shoots my teammate. And we have the 100 poking, who I'm gonna... Wow, not pen in a perfect tracking shell. T22 is gonna continue tunneling me. It's impressive how hard the T-22 wants to focus me, but we do get a nice shell into them, and now we have the Vickers on my rear again. How fun. We're going to reload, and I'm going to go for a shell into the lower plate of the 100. We are going to back up. We get another bounce. However, doesn't make a difference. We did 4,600 damage. We blocked 2,500. And in this game, I can't really say Rammer gave us an inherent advantage over Cali, but there were some moments where I got out a shell that I would not have running calibrated shells, especially that shot on the side of the E100 in the crossing. We blocked a decent amount. We did a pretty solid amount. Our team just honestly sucked. I'm not really sure what our team was doing. They all kind of fell apart. The E100 was fine. They could have played a little better, but it's not their fault. When you have an XM66F that does 0, an IS-8 that does 0, a 4202 that does 300 damage, that's going to be the bigger reason to why your team loses, right? I mean, generally, you should not... I don't even understand how you deal 0 damage. Like, you have 1,800 health, and you can't output one shot before you die? That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But here we are. Second battle, and we got another whole bunch of heavies against us. We have an E100, Kampfpanzer, IS-7, and a 60 TP. And obviously lacking penetration could be a big disadvantage in a vehicle like this. So we'll see what we can do. Alright, well, up against us we have a Vickers Light as well. I don't know if that's the same Vickers as before. I hope it is. That guy was annoying, so I want to take him out of the game if it is the same player. Alright, well, I'm going to head over towards the town, and we'll play it by year. We have 2 and 5E. Okay. We have some decent heavies as well, which is pretty good. I'm just going to sit on the crossing over here for now. The SPHT, as we can see, is not actually slow. We can achieve a top speed of 36, and while the power to weight ratio isn't anything crazy, it is good enough that you'll be able to get in the position. So we can see 3 enemy heavies already detected on the heavy flank, or medium flank actually. So because of that, we know that they're not going towards this side of the map, so I can move up and see what we can do. We only have two tanks on the medium flank, and one of them got absolutely annihilated, and we're spotted, which is not good. That means they have something in the far back. There is the 60. Wow, that shell went so far off, and the Błyskawica obviously got pretty heavily bled there. We have the KPZ, which I have to load a gold shell to pen. That right there, okay. Alright, well, there you go. 4005 rolling 772 damage. Isn't the 4005 such a fun tank? Truly it is. You might say, what about the YAG? No, that's not the YAG, because we can see it's an APCR shell mark on the lower half of my vehicle. If that was a YAG, it would have been an AP mark. Well, we do get a shell into the YAG, so that's not horrible, but yeah, I do genuinely hate 4005s. They seem to just get away with whatever they want. They never seem to get spotted. It's quite the frustrating vehicle, I have to say. Well, in this current time frame, we're not really able to do much because there just isn't much here. I'm going to move up a bit, and I can't poke this because that 4005 is just going to keep sitting back there, so I'm just kind of pinned here for now. I am interested to see, though, if that Vickers is going to poke this corner or not, so I guess we can find out, right? I'm going to move over here. Let's see if I can dig out that Vickers. Come here. I'd like to find you. Oh, the Vickers is already in our spawn. Well, I guess that's fine. I'm going to head over here, and we're going to see if I can get to the side of these players. Wow. Okay. That is the definition of bad RNG right there. That really is. I could not have gotten worse luck. 60 TP armor is always troll for, like, no reason, and that was pretty horrible, I gotta say. Our team's doing really bad. They're getting bled out. They're getting, you know, punished. I'm gonna aim it on the side of the Kampfpanzer. There you go. Nice 346. Put on my adrenaline, and we have the 100 all the way on the side there, aiming. Boom, there you go, nice 412. Alright, looks like the 60 TP is going to try going for me. Let's aim it on the side of that YAG really quickly. There you go. Now I'm going to turn around, and I'm going to head towards the 60, who is right over here. There he is. Let's go for a nice shot into the side. We have the KPZ on my rear, which isn't great. Engine dies, but the good news is that we obviously do have more DPM, so we can get another shell into the 60, and I'm going to reload. We're going to get to the side of his vehicle just like so, and of course the 60 still hits me, taking off 728 of my health, because that vehicle is incredibly stupid. Alright, let's reload, and let's go for a penning shell into his turret once. Now we got to push over this way, and let's see. Angle, angle, angle. Don't pen me, don't pen me. Of course, he goes right through me. Nice 387. Puts us up to a pretty solid chunk of damage at this point. And we reload again. Let's go for an upper plate shot into the enemy Kampfpanzer. And now I'm going to try and face hug and gun block him. Let's see. And let's go for another penning shell myself. There you go. We do end up gun blocking the Kampfpanzer. We would have actually beat him, which is pretty funny. But once again, my team, unfortunately, sucked. As I say all the time, it doesn't matter how skilled you are at this game. If your team is bad, you're going to lose. And we did really good. I mean, both games we ended up dealing over 4,000 damage. We blocked, again, 1,700. And we literally would have killed that Kampfpanzer. We killed the 60 TP, and we had enough health to then turn around and still beat the Kampfpanzer, all because he bounced me once. That is why the SPHT is such an OP tank, by the way. I mean, just the fact that you're able to deal with so many different vehicles and win because you have that level of health, it is pretty stupid. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to say. As I mentioned, there are advantages to running Gunrammer, there are advantages to running calibrated shells, and it really depends on what type of player you are. I might start messing around more with Gunrammer when the next update drops, especially with vehicles that might not have as much pen, like the WZ-111-5A. I'm probably going to run Gunrammer because there's not much of a reason to run Cali if Wargaming refuses to give it more heat penetration. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.